Hi, my name is Spuck. I'm the resident choreographer with Stuttgart Ballet, and from 2012 on I will be the artistic director of the ballet in Zurich in Switzerland. I started dancing very late because my parents asked me to finish school first and to do civil service instead of army, so that's why I actually started dancing with 21. And so I went to the John Cranko school. I did classical education. And after 3 years I was tired of that, so I went to a very famous acting company, Neat company in Belgium. And then I worked with Rosas, which is a very famous modern dance company in Belgium. I founded a small company with another choreographer called Marco Santi. But unfortunately we didn't get enough money, and so I had to work for Stuttgart Ballet a little bit because I knew the repertoire. And then they just kept me there. I took a contract as a corps de ballet dancer. And I did one pas de deux, and from that moment on people are just asking for work. This is now like 12 years ago. And then I think 10 years ago I stopped dancing, and I'm just concentrating now on choreography. And the last 2 years I also start to direct operas. I just had an opera premiere last season. The first opera I did was without dancers. The second opera was a co-production of the State Opera in Stuttgart plus the Stuttgart Ballet. So I had like a choir of 40 singers. I had like 3 principal singers, and I had 24 dancers on stage. And I did everything, like the choreography and put it together. I had my team for set, costume. I always like to explore other things. I also did a couple of movies already, so I like to do more than just choreography. I think my work comes very much from a theatrical point. I'm not so interested in exploring or finding a new way of moving or to deconstruct ballet and find new things there. I always like to create situations on stage. Set is very important to me, costumes, the whole atmosphere. I'd like to tell stories on stage. I'd like to have conflicts on stage. I'm not a big fan if everything's just beautiful on stage. I think it's getting a bit boring and old-fashioned. Music is very important. The work has to be very musical. That's very, very important to me. And I like it when you have moments in there where you get irritated as a member of audience. So you're not just going like, oh, this is beautiful, and that's it. So I like moments, even myself, that I get surprised to go like, what's that now? Why are they doing this? What's going on there? I enjoy that. The moment I feel, oh, this is nice, but actually I'm getting bored, I think a lot, and then I start changing things. And I do things sometimes, or ask dancers to do things where they go like, what is this now? Why? And they don't understand it in the beginning, but later they get the idea about it. It's just, it's out of personal interest. I always like to watch performance, like most of the pieces from William Forsythe, for example. Your expectations go somewhere and suddenly the whole thing goes somewhere else, and you actually followed a completely wrong path. And I find this very exciting. I mean, for sure one of the biggest influences in the beginning was William Forsythe. When I saw his work, I was blown away. That was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to become a professional dancer. I worked in psychiatry in Frankfurt for 2 years. This was in the 80s when William Forsythe had all his big and famous pieces came out in Frankfurt, like Lim's Theorem in the middle. And so every night I was in the ballet when I could get a ticket. So of course I'm very influenced by that. I'm also a big fan of Pina Bausch's work. I think it's very, very touching. I think there's lots of stuff which is influencing you. It's also the work my colleagues are doing. When I see work of Paul, I'm very close to Paul. We are friends, we talk about it. I'm sure there's some influence, but it's just there, it's happening. I really enjoy the work of Jan Fabre, a very famous theater director in Belgium, Neat company. There's also a couple of movies I really like. It's like everything, just being open. Sometimes I know also some people who don't watch anything and they really stay in their own world. But I have the feeling they stay sometimes too much in their own world. That means the piece is not developing. It's repeating itself. The pieces are still strong and beautiful, but they don't go any. I think you need influences as an artist. I'm a person who likes the dialogue. I like to talk to people, I like exchange, I like discussion. I love it when the piece is over and I meet the audience and one goes like, this is crap, and the other one goes like, this is amazing. That's what we do. That's why we do art, because we want to push thoughts, push emotions, discussions, and exchange each other. That's important to me. And I want to know what's going on. I want to look at things. I don't want to live in how do you say, Elfenbeinturm, we say in German. It's kind of like in your little world, in your little tower. No. In dance and in ballet in general, there's still a generation sometimes of people who are leading companies and dancers, and they're not willing to give them enough responsibility. I don't like that. I think there's, especially in the ballet world, sometimes I have the feeling that the staff who's directing this company can give the people, even though if they're young, give them more responsibility. On the other side is like a dancer's career, especially ballet dancer's career, is quite short. So that's why people start with 17, 18 already, they get jobs. And of course you cannot expect big responsibility from them, because they have to find their place first and have to know how everything is functioning. But I don't like that there is still, in some ballet companies, this really strong leadership. I think it's time to step into the 21st century. This I find very important. So it doesn't stay in the 19th century system, that you have you start with corps de ballet and then you go up to principal and that's it then. And then maybe one day ballet master. And then, once again, when you look at William Forsythe's company, so many artists came out of there. And they all started like dancers. Then you have video artists, somebody makes the costumes, somebody's doing costumes and choreography. And I just like this, like an exchange of doing art together. I really enjoy that. And I wish that more company would go in this direction. I like to work with dancers who give a big commitment, who are interested in stuff. I have a problem with dancers who just want to use the choreography to present their technique, and I don't find this very interesting. I like dancers who are willing to explore things, to try out things. I like communication, to talk. I had a couple of times dancers who are like kind of stuck in their technique for any reason, I don't know. I tried to convince them to just let go, and that was difficult. If I have a choice of somebody who's like, maybe can do only one pirouette and has a little bit shorter legs, but he's like really open and interested and wants to do something, I would choose him before somebody who looks like amazing can turn 10 pirouettes, but it's totally boring on stage. What I'm saying is I like people with personality and people who have something to say and bring their own experience into work, because that makes it interesting for me to just like show pirouettes and steps and arabesques. I think, especially in our times now, almost everybody can do that. If somebody's really becoming in the professional dance world, that everybody can do this. It's the why am I doing something? I think that's important. More networking, more communicating to each other, and just give a chance to make interesting work and to step forward, to give a platform for this. It's good to have tradition and to have the Nutcracker every year, maybe it can be a bit of a twisted Nutcracker one day. There's still this big, strong cliche of ballet, and I think this will stay for a long, long time. But I wish that all the work which is new and a little bit different would get like the same attention. That would be really nice. I always like when I see companies or works where things are happening unexpected, when surprising is happening. I think the worst thing for art in general is routine. And sometimes all these big state theaters, also especially in Europe, they need this routine actually that they can run. So it's kind of like art and how the theaters function is eating itself. So I really enjoy if I can work with smaller companies where you suddenly have like 6 weeks of rehearsal time and they go like, you have 6 weeks, you can do what you want, you have all the freedom. If you work in a state theater, you have 1 hour rehearsal there, 1 hour there. You have to hand in the set early enough, the costumes, and how you give it in. That's how it's going to look like. It's difficult to change it then. It's nice if everything is more open, there's no routine. It's the biggest company in Switzerland, and it's a classical company. And I would like that it stays a classical company. But of course I want to do my work there. But at the same time, I'd like to invite all the choreographers who are important at the moment. So to find a nice balance, to have like one way to do what the tradition of the house is. Let's say it's the work from the recent choreographer and from the recent director. Then it's maybe we have to do some swan legs and nutcrackers, and hopefully one day I can make them a little bit more exciting or special so that it's not a normal one. And it's my work, and it's going to be the work from different choreographers. Choreographers who I think are at the moment very important, interesting, exciting. And I think it will be a long process to actually achieve what I want. So I have 5 years for that now. I hope I will manage. It's a big thing. It's a big responsibility.